Does prayer work? Yes, prayer does work. Prayer is powerful, and much good can be accomplished through prayer. Prayer works because it is addressed to God, and God's power is unlimited. He can do anything He chooses to do. He can do anything that is consistent with His perfect and pure character. He will answer prayers in a way that is consistent with His infinite wisdom and His perfect will. Prayer works because prayer is addressed to God. The Bible tells us that God is listening to the prayers of His faithful followers. The Bible also tells us that God will do great things for His followers when they pray to Him. This gives Christians great confidence in the power of prayer. Sometimes people question whether prayer works. This may come from the fact that many times God answers prayers in a way different from what was anticipated. There are many reasons why God may not answer a prayer. He may not answer a prayer because it is coming from someone who really does not love Him and does not choose to live for Him. He may not answer a prayer because the one praying has shown some disrespect and lack of reverence for God. Sometimes God does not give people what they ask for in prayers because they're asking for worldly and sinful things or things they should not ask for. And sometimes God does not give us what we want in our prayers, but later gives us something even better. Prayer works for those who live for God and pray according to the will of God. Prayer works for those who pray with diligence. Prayer works for those who are dedicated to the service of God. Prayer works for those who have complete faith and trust in God. The Bible gives us a strong example that shows how effective prayers can be. Elijah prayed to God that the rain would stop, and it did. Elijah later prayed that the rain would come again, and it did. God heard his prayers and answered them in amazing ways. Prayer worked for the ancient Jewish king Hezekiah. When he was surrounded by his enemies, he prayed to God, and God delivered him. When he was afflicted with a mortal disease, he prayed to God, and God gave him 15 more years to live. Prayer worked for the early Christians who prayed for Peter when he was in prison. God made sure that Peter was released. When Peter was released, he made his way to the house where the Christians were praying for him. They were amazed at the wonderful way in which God had answered their prayer. The Apostle Paul trusted in the power of prayer. He knew prayer worked. He credited the prayers of the church in Corinth for strengthening him during a very difficult time. He even asked other churches to pray for him from time to time, and often spoke of his prayers for those churches also. Prayer worked for Paul. Prayer also worked for Christ. He prayed frequently. He often looked for opportunities to be alone so that he could pray to his Father. There's no doubt that God even heard the fervent prayer of His Son, Jesus Christ, when Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane. You may remember that Jesus prayed that the cup of suffering would be taken from Him. God's answer was no, but Jesus understood that He should not expect to receive His request if it was not within the will of His Father. Each time He prayed that the suffering would be removed, He said words such as, "Nevertheless, not my will, but yours." Does prayer work? Yes, most certainly it does.